Hey out there, thanks for tuning in. So I'm excited. Why am I excited? The Loretta deal closed today. I'm so excited. Done with that. Now why am I calling this video my biggest mistake if Loretta deal closed and I'm excited? Well, I'm done with it. I haven't shared day in and day out about the anxiety or stress or frustration that went along with the sale of this property, but I can tell you, I got some extra gray hair in there somewhere. It was supposed to close almost 30 days ago. The communication from the buyer side as well as my side was less than stellar. I didn't even know if it was going to close. Anyway, let me get back to this. So I made a couple bucks on this, but I'm still considering it my biggest mistake because for the amount of money that I made on this property, I don't think I would have done this again. Let me tell you a little bit about the deal. I bought it 125 days ago. We actually closed on 9/11, and here it is 125 days, and we sold it. Bought it for $120,000, sold it for $157,000. Initially, it sounds like $37,000. How could that be a mistake, Harry? What are you complaining about? What's all the stress? I mean, so what? That's worth some stress, isn't it? Well, let me dig a little deeper into the numbers. We sold it for $157,000 today. Bought it for $120,000. Going into the transaction, especially with like a flip or using a hard money lender or something like that, when you're going into the deal, there's a lot of settlement charges. $12,920. $5,000 investor fees. I borrowed $50,000 in order to get into this deal and then got a hard money loan. So really, we had zero money into it. I'm loving that. But I do have to pay the $5,000 to this investor. Going out of the transaction, you could see how much less settlement charges are as a seller compared to a buyer. Now, this is I didn't use a realtor in this case. So if you were using a realtor, you're gonna have to take like 5% commission into consideration, but I didn't. $28.76 going out when I sold it, and I put $7,000 for miscellaneous carrying costs and things like that. AJ and I were over there, gutting the place. I got 2 dumpsters over there. A hoarder was living there, so I got a 40-yard, got that taken out. You know, utilities, water, electric, different things. $7,000 is generous. I really don't think I spent $7,000. I have to run all the numbers. I think it's closer to maybe $5,500, but I'm going to put $7,000 because if you remember from previous videos, I don't want to exaggerate. I don't want to puff things up to make them sound better than they are. Let me give you the bottom line. All in, $147,796. I made $9,204 profit. That's not necessarily chump change. However, I didn't get into real estate to make less than $10,000 on a transaction that I had for 125 days. It's not something that I want to do. Would I do it again? I don't know. I want to go over some lessons I learned from my biggest mistake. I don't like when people whine to me, so I hope I'm not coming across as whining. All right? Hit a comment down below in case you do think I'm whining. The gray hair, the stress, the frustration, and the lost sleep, to me, in my opinion, was not worth $12.78 an hour. I ran those numbers. 9204 equals $511 a week. Now, I'm going to go into the benefits of this, but I just want to tell you why I'm saying it's my biggest mistake. I did not get into real estate in order to make that kind of money, but, I don't like to say but, so let me say, however, let me go over the good things. I'm not patting myself so hard on the back that I'm breaking my arm, but I am saying buying right in real estate could be either the most important, it is the most important thing. So when I went down to Loretta and I saw $120,000 and I ran the ARV after repair value, I came up with somewhere about $340,000, $350,000. The appraiser, which was really conservative, came up with like $314,000. He had to go out of his way to get down that low. However, the spread, even at that conservative appraisal, $314,000 buying it for $120,000, we're talking about almost $200,000 off of that appraisal. And I had a $128,000 rehab budget. It was a home run no matter what. So losing steam halfway into it, not even halfway into it, a quarter into it, then I knew that there was enough meat on the bone for me to sell it to another flipper. I'm going to tell you about the deal that he got and why this is a home run for him. And I really like the buyer. However, let me tell you why the sting of this mistake isn't that bad. Because I bought it right. And here's the other thing. I borrowed the down payment, the closing costs, and all the other costs in order to get into this transaction from the private investor that I'm paying a $5,000 investor fee. And let me tell you what kind of a return that is. Someone lent me $50,000 and I'm giving him $5,000 on top of that in less than 5 months. When you do the math on that for a return, what are we talking about? We're talking about somewhere around 25% return. I don't know where you can get 25% on your money. So that's a good deal for him. A lot of people made out on this. Title company, the lawyers, the appraiser, the dumpster people. AJ put some money in his pocket, and I'm putting some money in my pocket. So a lot of people made out. But here's a sweet deal. I borrowed all that money. The remaining portion of it I got from a hard money loan. So, me, I had zero money out of pocket on this deal. So making $9,000 without having one dime out of pocket, the returns are infinite. So I sound like I'm whining a little bit. However, this transaction gave me, I don't know if I told you this, gray hair, stress, frustration, and lost sleep. I don't think I made up the saying. It's pretty catchy. I think I heard it, not verbatim, but very similar. If you're not making mistakes, you're not doing enough deals. So, I think part of me being pumped up, getting this deal closed, and also feeling like it's a mistake, it's like, this is a mistake where I really didn't get hurt. This is a mistake that I can live with. This is a mistake that, might not even be a mistake, but I'm calling it a mistake. Now, like I said, I didn't tell you guys about each day that went by where there was something frustrating that happened with this deal. But I can tell you, when it didn't close and like a week went by, I was getting frustrated. And I would try to contact my lawyer, the buyer, the title company. And the lack of communication was, how do I say this? Not pleasant. So communications, whether you're doing like sales or anything else. I remember one of my business classes in school, they talked about communication skills is what's most sought after in today's world. And I can tell you, that is absolutely true. Here's a couple lessons that I learned from this transaction. The contract. When I was getting frustrated, 2 weeks went by and, I want to get some leverage on this deal and what can I do in order to get this guy or the buyers to actually move? What can I do? So I went back in and I looked at the contract. Here's a mistake. There was no time limit on a contingency that was in there. First of all, I got it all done so quickly, I overlooked that. Typically, there'll be like a 10-day contingency for inspections, let's say. In this particular contract, it just said prior to closing. Didn't give me a lot of leverage there. The deposit that they gave tied in with the no time limit on that contingency I just spoke about. The deposit was always going to be refundable. So I couldn't use that leverage to threaten them, like, I'm keeping your deposit. Right in the contract, I really couldn't. I kind of bluffed a couple times, trying to get them, put a fire under their butt, but I don't think I could. So the lack of leverage, whether you're going in as a buyer, I've spoken about leverage as far as, getting maximum loan to value from a lender. This is a different kind of leverage. This is leverage like, what do you have that you can use against the other party if they're not acting the way that they should? And in this case, I didn't have much leverage, and that was frustrating me. I also learned this. Attorneys, realtors, title companies, if their job is to take some of the stress or anxiety away from me or create a solution that I don't have to think about, then I pay them. And I'll pay them handsomely. I don't think I ever used that word. However, if these same people that I pay are more are creating more stress or more havoc or not communicating properly, then I have to rethink it. Do I have to use an attorney on every transaction? I don't think so. New Jersey is one of the few states that it's the norm, but it's not required. Realtors, well, I'm still waiting for my real estate license, so yes, you're going to need to use me. Other than that, I don't know about every realtor. Title company you're going to have to use. You got to get title work. I'm thinking that I can use the title company for some of the stuff that the attorneys can do. I'm going to try that out. So here's what I was hoping that I'm taking away from it, and so could you. The importance of buying right. I'm not talking about buy right liquor store. I'm talking about buying property the right way. Like if you think about this, $9,204. It's not chump change, but like I said, I didn't get into real estate to hold something for almost 5 months and only make $9,200 on it. I'm not whining, I'm not. However, if this is my biggest mistake and I still got out making a couple bucks, I can live with that. Buying right, though, means if I would have bought this property for $130,000 instead of $120,000, because the spread initially, like I went over, was huge. If I would have bought it for just $10,000 more, and I tried to walk away from this deal, I could have lost money on it. And I don't like losing money. I'm pretty competitive with myself. Here's the other thing. Good people. This kind of showed, how do I say this? Because I don't want to talk bad about anybody. But this kind of showed the true colors of some people that I've dealt with. And I think the relationship might be bruised a little bit. Could probably recover. But when push comes to shove, we need good people in our corner, whether it's in your house, your family, your friends, or whatever, but definitely professionals. We need some good people. In the end, I think the buyer this is going to be a home run. I haven't spoke a lot about the buyer, but it was his first deal buying by himself. I think up until this point he had partners or he worked with somebody. And he was such a nice guy. When I would get frustrated with, I don't know, my team or his team, then I would talk to the buyer and I'd be loaded for bear. It's been 3 weeks, dude. I wouldn't really get like that, but I'd want to. And then I'd hear his voice, Gregory. And he'd say, hello, my lawyer has been taking so much. I don't know what kind of an accent I was just trying to make, and I hope it wasn't offending anybody, but every time I try to do an accent, it sounds the same. So I'm not going to do an accent. Anyway, I would talk to him, and he would say, I don't know why it's taking so long. It's my lawyer and my title company. And I believe this guy. He was such a nice guy. He's going to make out on this deal. Good for you, Gregory. Oh, I saw the settlement statement today. And Gregory got a hard money loan. Let me tell you, I'm loving my hard money lender after I saw the deal he got. Not very good. So, the bottom line is I was able to walk away from this transaction because of feelings that I had for it. I'm a sensitive guy. I don't know if you guys know that. And as a result of that, I was still able to walk away with a couple dollars. Bottom line, I probably won't do this deal again, though.